Alright, so let's get to the first batch here. Oops. Alright, first question is from Low. Can I rank more than one keyword for the same page if the keywords are similar? Example, 3 keyword with the same last 2 words being the same. Yeah, absolutely, Low. And I mean, they usually go hand in hand. You know, if you're trying to rank, for example, if you're trying to rank for like Delaware dentist or something like that, you also want to rank for dentist in Delaware. A lot of the times when you rank for this, you're also going to rank at least decently for this. And that's kind of where the where our URL and anchor text combination comes into play. You know, it depends on what your URL is, but if you have something like DelawareDentist.com, then for your title, you might want to say something like, you know, the dentist in Delaware you trust. Something like that. I mean, that's not a great title, but you get the point. I got Delaware Dentist in my URL, in my domain name, and then I got the opposite, Dentist in Delaware, in my title. Okay, so little things like that, and then, of course, you know, using different anchor text is going to help with all that, but generally, when you rank for one of these, you're also going to rank pretty well for the other. From Kirk, do unique IPs equal subdomains? I'm not sure what you're asking, Kirk. I know there's a way to put subdomains on unique IPs, but I don't know how to do it. I know there is a way to do it, and there's like people who use tricks with that, but I've never gotten into that. But I know you can get unique IPs for subdomains. I'm just not sure how to do it. All right, from Vince. Yeah, I mean it's still okay to use Vince, but I always take extra safety. I look at the links in OpenSite Explorer first, and if it doesn't have a ton of pages that are getting links, then I don't use it. I'll either not use it at all, or I'll manually 301 them. Or if it has like a bunch of pages that have links, you know, a bunch of inner pages, then I'll use Link Juice Keeper. But I try not to use it when I don't have to. And let me give you an example. Like, let's see, if we had... So I'm going to bring this up into OpenSite Explorer. Alright, that one's not working. Alright, here we go. So what I'll do is, like, if this was a PBN we were looking at, what I'm going to do is go up here and go to Top Pages. Okay? As you can see right here, this OMG Machines actually has a lot of inner pages that are getting links. Like, these are all inner pages that are getting links. So in this case, I would actually use Link Juice Keeper on this PBN. I mean, there's a ton of them, right? But, you know, if you have something that shows up where all of them are going to the root and the rest are all 0, absolutely no need to use it. Or if there's like a whole bunch going to the root domain, and then maybe there's like a couple links going here and a couple going here, I'll just install simple 301 redirects and manually 301 this URL to the home page and this URL to the home page. Now I'll just do that through a manual 301. Alright, so, I mean, I still use it on my sites that look like this. Like, if there's a whole bunch of pages with inner pages with links to them. Because, again, what Link Juice Keeper does is it redirects links from non-existent pages to the home page. When you buy a PBN, all the pages that used to have obviously aren't there. If those pages that aren't there have links going to them, you want to get the juice from those. So, you know, if there's only a couple of those pages that were getting juiced, just manually do it. I mean, that's what I do, at least. You can use Link Juice Keeper still if you want. I just like switching it up. You know, I like having it on some domains and not on others. I don't like having it on every single domain, just in case. Then if it's something that looks like this, where there's like a whole bunch of links to a whole bunch of inner pages, I'll just use Link Juice Keeper. Alright. Alright, from Brent. I mean... Because, I mean, you're the SEO person, he's not. You can, I mean, I don't know what kind of proof you've shown them of your SEO, but You know, it's like if he's a dentist, for example, just tell him like, what I need to, like, would he need to convince you that you need a filling? You know what I mean? He's a dentist. He should know you need a filling. Just like you're the SEO person. If he's not letting you do what you got to do, then he might not be a client you want. So, just kind of bring that up. I mean, I'm not great with clients, but that's what I would say is, look, if I had a filling, I'm not going to question you. That's your expertise. This is my expertise. And in my case, I would say, look, I rank for this, 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 this. This is why you need to change your on page, because Google has changed some things where if you have the term too many times in the title and the URL and on page, then you're going to get penalized. Just kind of explain the basics and let him know that you're the expert. That's what I would do. All right, from Ada, editing SEO description in WordPress. Yeah, I mean, you can change your meta description, your SEO description. I personally don't. I just let Google pull it, and I take care of everything I need with my URL and my title and my anchor text, and then I just kind of let them grab what they want for that. Cause I mean, you can help yourself with stuff in there, like more LSI and stuff, but most of that's taken care of with your URL, your title, and your anchor text. So I don't really worry about it. The only time I would say I would worry too much about editing it is if you want to do it for conversion. But other than that, I don't mess with it. So, I mean, that's up to you. Depends on what kind of situation you're in. Alright, from Vince. Can you use Social Explosion on money sites using pages, not posts? I don't know if they made that change yet, Vince. I was actually wondering that the other day, is if Social Explosion works on pages yet. Because I know for a while at least it was just working on posts. I'm pretty sure it just works on posts still. I'm almost positive. But I would ask their support about that. And I'll actually ask them myself too, because I was wondering the same. Because I know they were trying to get it to work for pages as well. I don't know if they ever made that transition or not. I didn't hear anything about it, so I don't think they did, but I could be wrong. And I know they were also working on having it work for existing posts, because it only works for new. Well, I don't know if the change was made yet, but from what I remember, from what I am up to date with, it only works when you do a new post, not an existing post. So those are two things that I would check with their support with. All right, from Vince. Yeah, you can definitely add more content to an existing post, absolutely. Or you can add another whole new post. Either one's fine there, Vince. No problem with either of those. All right, cool. We got some questions coming in. All right, from David. What makes for bad links from the network sites? I mean, there's a lot of things that can make for bad links. First of all, a bad network site. If it has like a lot of spammy stuff to it, then if it's marked as a spammy site, then you're kind of passing on a red flag, so to speak. And then just anything with footprints. If you're using all linking from the same host, like SEO hosting now, if you got an SEO hosting account and you got 10 sites on there, and you're linking all those 10 sites to the same money site, even if they're on different IPs, I mean, that's a footprint now with the hosting change. So, I mean, and then, of course, over-optimized anchor text. That's not necessarily a bad link, but that's kind of like a bad thing that people do. They don't realize they do. But, I mean, yeah, the biggest thing for bad links would just be like a very low quality spammy network site. I mean, that's the biggest thing that sticks out to me. Other than that, I would say the next thing would be footprints. Can you reuse a PBN for another theme? Yeah, I mean, I've done it. As long as it's in good standing. I mean, you can take off all the content and put up totally new content. Yep. From Vince. I think semrush.com gives you like a few terms. I don't know if you can like type in what term. You can always Google stuff like this, like what term, or how about like where does this term rank? Something like that. And SEO. Yeah, so it looks like here's a tool right here. So let's say like Nashville eyelash extensions. Let's see if it works. And yeah, it tells you right here it's ranked #1. It shows you competing pages, shows you Yahoo and Big Ranking, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, anytime you're looking for a tool like that, just go to Google. You know, again, whatever I typed in. What did I type in? Yeah, where does this term rank, and then SEO. Because I mean, if you just did where does this term rank, there's not that much. It's not kind of. Here's another one actually right here. Where do I rank.net? Same kind of thing there. So yeah, there is free tools out there. Always do a Google search when you're trying to find something like that. What's up, Leo? From Kirk. You got a ClickBank product you'd like to market, anything special to do in WordPress? Not that I know of. I mean, you're just going to need to get... you're going to have a good-looking site for your product and make sure the buy links are working properly and all that stuff. But other than that, I mean, I don't think there's anything special you got to do. All right, from Leo. Yeah, I think what you're asking is, like, can you do another link on that PBN to the same URL? I mean, you can. Does it give more link juice? I'm not totally positive because I haven't really messed with it that much, but I don't think so. I'm almost positive no. I just do one link per URL from a PBN, so I wouldn't even bother with that. I mean, I can test around with it, but I'm pretty sure that it doesn't do anything for you. It's not going to do much, if anything. From John. Yeah, absolutely. I do that all the time, John. Where I'll rank a website with a YouTube video, website with Facebook, website with Twitter, all that type of stuff. I mean, it's easy to put them together too, because if you got like you're linking to NashvilleSEO.org and you link for Nashville SEO, then you can include the Facebook page and say, look, here's the Nashville SEO Facebook, and that can be the link for that. So it fits together very well, and it's kind of easy to put together like that. And at the same time, you're linking out to high domain authority stuff. So from Steve. I guess that depends who you ask. It also depends on on how big the project is, how competitive it is. Like if you're in a really competitive niche that would possibly get negative SEO happen to it, then subdomains would be good to use because there are certain tricks you can use with subdomains to kind of like transform to different subdomains, and it doesn't affect the root. Like for example, when a subdomain gets attacked, it doesn't. Let's put it this way: if the root domain gets attacked, it affects the whole site. Okay, if the root gets attacked, like site.com. But if sub.root.com gets attacked, it just affects that subdomain. So if you have subdomains, it's it allows you to kind of work around negative SEO if it's going to happen. But most niches, you don't even have to worry about that, and you'd be fine with pages. So, I mean, it really depends on like what you're doing and how competitive the niche is and all that type of stuff. But I mean, either one would work fine. Duplicate content, just don't repeat the same content. That's all. From Jason. Yeah, that's fine, Jason. I mean, I still use Spider Spanker. I use Link Juice Keeper when necessary, like I showed just 10 minutes ago. Yoast SEO, so I can no index, no follow, categories, tags, and the other thing that's in the other section. What else do I use? Spider Spanker, Link Juice Keeper. Oh, and Social Explosion. I use Social Explosion. Usually for my PBNs, I'll set it to low, like the settings to low for Social Explosion. I just want it to help with indexing, help power it up a little bit. But it depends what type of budget you're on. If you're not worried about your budget, it's an important site, you set them all to high. That you're gonna get the best results out of that. But sometimes I'll just set my Social Explosion on my PBNs to low on duration and whatever the other one is. All right. From Leo. No, they're in different posts, Leo. Yeah, when you're using stringing, you're using the keyword or the anchor text on different PBNs on different sites. From Aline. I mean, it depends how important the site is. Like, omgmachines.com is on a dedicated server because, when we launch a new coaching program or we do webinars, we get a whole lot of traffic at once, so you're going to need a dedicated server for that. But I mean, most of my money sites, I just have on, shared hosting accounts or something like that. I've never even messed with the cloud VPS. I'm sure that's fine, though. I mean, any of these are fine, Malene. It just depends on what type of site it is. You're gonna want a dedicated server for something that's going to be getting a lot of traffic. And then if it's either of these two, just make sure they're fast. There's plenty of shared hosting companies that have very quick servers. It's very quick. So as long as everything's loading fast, it doesn't really matter. And then of course, if you're going to be getting a lot of traffic, I would go with dedicated. But even like KLKS, that was getting up to 1,000 unique visitors a day, and I just had that on host 9, which is just shared hosting, and it was totally fine. Alright, from Malene. I would, Malene. I mean, you don't have to, but I mean, I like protecting my information, and also, if I do forget to either privacy or fake my who is for one of my PBNs, I wouldn't want a link from a site saying Greg Morrison going to a money site saying Greg Morrison. They were going to say, oh, that's fishy. This guy owns this site that's linking to his own site. Let's red flag him. So, I mean, I usually just do it. From Aline. Post content. Social signals are one of the best things for indexing. Social Explosion, you can use that. All the stuff we talk about, like YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, getting accounts for them and linking them together. Google Plus, stuff like that. But I mean, usually you'll naturally get indexed just from posting content. From Malene. I think WordPress is still the best, Malene. I don't know much about website design, but I'm pretty sure that there's plenty of up-to-date themes for WordPress. It's the biggest platform out there. So I'm not sure what she's talking about. From Vince. Nah, do everything with Google, Vince. I mean, Yahoo and Bing just aren't. I mean, I don't want to say they're not big enough to pay attention to, but I mean, Google's where the money is. So, for Malene, I mean, how many links really depends on too many things, Malene. It depends on the quality of the PBNs. It depends on how you have the site set up. It depends on how well your on-page optimization is done. It depends on the competition of the niche. It depends on what anchor text you use when you link to it. I mean, there's way too many things to answer that question. I mean, it can take anywhere from one, it can take hundreds. It depends. I mean, technically, you only need one post with a link to your money site in it. But you know, if you're in a competitive niche and you're only using PBNs, for example, you know, say I'm in the e-cig niche and I'm only using PBNs and nothing else, you wouldn't want to send 100 links to that money site all just from one post PBNs. Not saying it wouldn't work, but I mean, that's something that Google could easily track. Like, okay, this site has 100 links. They're all from WordPress sites. They all have just one post, one page of content, and you know, that's a big footprint. So, I mean, if you're doing like a local site and you have 5-10 links, I don't think that's going to be a problem. But you know, when you start going in more competitive stuff, where you need more links, and you're only using PBNs, then you gotta go outside and use just one post. I mean, you don't have to, but I would recommend it. From Jason. I mean, you don't really need to use a PBN for each term, because I mean, when you link, like when we went over earlier, when you link with the anchor text Delaware Dentist, it's also going to help you rank for dentists in Delaware. I mean, maybe not as much as Delaware Dentist, depending on the URL and the URL and title combinations and all that, but generally, one link will help you rank for many keywords because it helps you rank for variations. But I know what you're asking here, and someone asked this earlier. You want to use just one PBN per money site. Okay, so you wouldn't want to. There's no reason to link to that same URL again on the same PBN. Is what I'm saying. From Kirk. Do I have to have a new WordPress site for each website? I don't know what you mean by can you just download it. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, Kurt, but yeah, you're going to need WordPress for each website you do. I mean, each website's going to be separate. Now, I'm not sure totally what you're asking, but hopefully that helps. From Ada. No, editing content, it happens all the time, Ada. And whenever you have a question like this, kind of think like, if that was going to negatively affect sites, then people wouldn't be able to go in and edit their sites, But the second question, just changing anchor text, if you just go in and change anchor text and nothing else, that can actually be seen as a spam signal, because that's seen as manipulation. Now, if you go and you change a whole bunch of the content and you change the anchor text on the PBN, that's different. In that case, I don't think it's a spam flag. But if you just log into a PBN and just change the anchor text, yeah, that's gonna cause a red flag. And I've actually tested with that, where I went and changed a whole bunch of anchor text for a site on existing PBNs, and it totally fell off for like 3 or 4 months, something like that. I mean, Network Empire's tools are very, very advanced. Me personally, I just use the Google Keyword tool, the Google Keyword Planner, and just my brain. But I mean, if you're looking for a tool to really go in depth, then they have some really good tools over there, like the Last Keyword tool and stuff like that. I'm not sure, Jason. I didn't have that. I haven't had that problem that I know of. I'm not very technical, so I wouldn't. I would ask that kind of stuff in the Facebook group. What's up, Carol? Gregor Ortiz dominates your city. You'd like to cross over? Oh, I see what you're saying. I think you're saying, should you do those surrounding city towns on the same My City Guide, or set up a different site for each? I mean, it really depends. I mean, if you're going to be covering a whole bunch of like surrounding cities and towns, like a whole bunch of them, I would probably just set up like one My State Guide, like My Tennessee Guide, something like that. But if you already have a site and you're just going to do like a few additional ones and they're close by, then it's probably okay doing that. It might look a little weird to the visitor. But I mean, if they're close enough, it should be fine. So I mean, I think it really depends there on what you're trying to do. I wouldn't necessarily make one for each, but you might, if you're going to be doing like a lot of them, you could actually do a My State Guide, and then kind of cover each city on the My State Guide site, each city town. From Ada. Probably Microsite Masters Ada. I mean, that's what I use for keyword tracking. Trying to transition into the OMG Command Center, but I just don't feel like moving my keywords over because I have like 15,000 keywords I'm tracking. But Colin's trying to help me with that, where we can actually export from Microsite Masters, and if he's able to do that, we'll also pass that on to the community where you guys can do the same thing if you're using Microsite Masters. From Kara. Kara, let me save that one just because that's covered in the video. It's in the sink or swim section, Kara. So if we have time at the end, I'll go over that. But we cover that a good amount in the videos, like sink or swim section especially. Alright? But I'll write it down just in case we have time at the end. But yeah, check out the sink or swim section, Kara. We cover that in pretty good detail. From Jason. I mean, what you can do now, Jason, is you can get a Facebook, you can get a Twitter, you can get a YouTube, you can get a Weebly, you can get all those strong social properties and start ranking them. I mean, you can really do that on the same PBNs that you use to rank your Yelp or whatever you have ranking. I wouldn't, be careful about linking them all of them on the same PBNs. Like, you can link to the Yelp and the YouTube together, and then on the next one, maybe just link to the YouTube and the Facebook together. Then on the next one, maybe just link to just Twitter. Like, just mix it up like that, where you're not linking to Facebook, Google, or Facebook, Twitter, and Yelp on every single PBN together. You know what I mean? From Carol. What do you mean by out-of-state city guide? By local, they don't necessarily mean like, I think that's what you're asking. Like local to you. Local just means location. Like, Dallas plumber, Delaware plumber, whatever. That's what local means. I think that's what you're asking. From Carol. I mean, citations are they're kind of just like business listings, and they just help with local sites. That's just something that helps rank local sites. And again, local just means a location-based site or a location-based business, something like that. From Low. Yeah, I mean, you want to be very careful of linking from the same host twice, especially smaller hosts. Like if you're hosting with GoDaddy and you link twice in a row, you'll probably get away with it because they're such a big host. But if you're using a smaller host and your first two links are from that same exact host, that probably is going to cause problems for you. So you got to kind of think of it as like a probability thing, because that's kind of how they're doing it. That's kind of how most SEO is. It's by probability. You don't want to link. I mean, just to be safe, I linked from different hosts, completely different hosts to start now. Like, if I have 5 links, most likely they're coming from all different hosts. Okay, even if they're big hosts, and then maybe I'll start using the same host here and there. But I try to get as many different hosts as I can in there. I try to make it look as natural as possible. Leo. Hanker Spanker? I think you mean hacker. I don't know, but no, I don't. Either whatever you meant, I don't. But I'm guessing Todd Spears is the owner of that. You can ask him on Facebook. Alright, from Carol. I mean, most emails you don't need a phone number, Carol. Like even like Gmail, there's a spot to put in the phone number. Most people think you have to put in the phone number. You don't have to. You can leave it blank and it'll still let you create the account. So you actually don't have to use a phone number for most emails that I know of. Alright. Yeah, you meant Hackers Banker. Yeah, that's probably Todd Spears, and I haven't used it, but I'm sure it's good if it's from Todd. From Carol. Silo should be under domination, Carol. If it's not in there, email David at omgmachines.com or just ask on the Facebook group. I'm sure you'll get a quick message on there. From Jason. Yeah, it's okay if name servers are seen on Whois. You just don't want the same name server showing for links going to your site. So, if I have like Money Site, and then to Money Site I have PBN1, PBN2, and PBN3. You wouldn't want the name servers to be like ns1 dot. You wouldn't want the name servers to be showing up like this in the whois. Now, if your money site right here has 3 links to it, and all 3 links have the same exact name servers, that's a very big footprint. So it's totally fine that they show up in whois. I mean, I think they actually have to show up. There, some type of name server has to show up in whois, and that's just part of whois information. You just don't want the same name server showing for your links going to your sites. All right. That's part of the reason we use different hosts as well, because with a different host, you're going to get different name servers. All right, from Coco. Yeah, you can definitely move it, Coco. Some hosts will actually move it for you for free. Some might charge you a little bit, but it's just the process of copying the site files over to the new host. And as far as downtime, I mean, you won't lose any content or rankings as long as there's no problems with the move, which there shouldn't be. And there shouldn't really be even any downtime, because what you'll do is you'll just copy over all the content. Once the content's copied over to the new server, you just put in the new name servers. And I mean, by the time the new name servers propagate, you know, the content's already there on the server, so it will show up right away. From David. No dumb questions, David. Bunch of links for the domain. I mean, I think you're actually thinking along the right lines, David. Because I think you're thinking that doesn't really make sense, and it doesn't. Domain authority isn't everything. It's got to be backed up by good links. You know, SEO Moz, this is just their number. Like, it's not. This isn't like Google's number. This is their number. I mean, they do a very good job of guessing it, but there's certain things that they get wrong, like they give way too much credit for no-follow links. So if a site has 1,000 links and all of them are no-follow, strong links, but they're no-follow, they're going to give it a very high domain authority when it shouldn't be that high because they're no-follow. Or they don't give enough score to government and EDU links. So domain authority isn't everything. The links have to back up the domain authority as well. Okay? I mean, that's the way I look at it. So back to your question, I personally like finding, I guess you're talking about like PBNs. I always go after expired domains that have at least decent domain. It doesn't even have to be high domain authority, David. Like, I have PBNs that have domain authority 20 that work very well. It doesn't have to be super high. I just like to see relevant links backing that up, and I think you're right on track there, because you were thinking that doesn't make sense. So I personally look for the domain authority backed up by good links. And good links means, like, you know, relevant links. Like if you're looking at a site that used to be about politics, and there's a whole bunch of links going to it about SEO, you don't want that. You know, you want, or let's say it's like a site about like Nashville safety, you know, nashvillesafety.org. And it's about, you know, being safe in the Nashville area. If it has a whole bunch of links from like Nashville related sites, that's a great sign, because sites in the Nashville area would link to that site. But if it had a whole bunch of links like from like Search Engine World and stuff like that, that's not really a great sign. So yeah, I actually do look for like the relevant to the domain type stuff. From Coco. No, I don't produce unique content with a software, Coco. Some people do use Content Amigo, which has to do with Todd Spears. I've never used it. Alright, from Coco. To change the SOA records, that's only for SEO hosting, which we're not necessarily using anymore. So that's more something you worry about with SEO hosting. Okay? And I actually have a video on that in the supremacy section. The HT access trick? I'm not sure what trick that is, Coco. Does Spider Spanker hide our keywords? No, what it does is it blocks bots from picking up certain data. So if you have Spider Spanker on a PBN that you're linking to your money site, it won't show that link onto your money site. Like when people look up your money site, it won't show the link from that PBN if you're blocking the proper bot, because on that PBN you're saying, I don't want people to pick up this information. Okay? So that's what it does. Nah, no dumb questions, Kirk. Again, you guys ask what you want. Everyone's at a different level, so there's no dumb questions. Alright, from Peter. Yeah, Peter, you can do that, and I do it. Just be careful doing it too much. There's certain, like if I have like a really important site, I'll link to just that site because I want it to be, I want as little chance as possible of something going wrong with that site. The chances of something going wrong with that site, I want it to be as little as possible. I mean, the more money sites you link to from PBNs, I don't want to say the more trouble you can get into, but if something happens, there's more of a chance of it affecting all those sites you're linking to, okay? But as long as you're safely setting up everything, you're not creating footprints, there's no problem with that, and I do it all the time, Peter, all right? I just want you to know the absolute safest way is to just link to one money site from each PBN. But that's hard to do because we want to use our resources for more. But again, if something happened, then there's a greater chance of it affecting more of your money sites. All right. So just take that into consideration. But yeah, Peter, I mean, I do it all the time. All right. From Leo. Yeah, absolutely. You can link to your, like your home page and also an inner page. Just don't do it every time. Like if you have your money site, and you have PBN1, PBN2, PBN3. You got money 1, and then you also have, money 1, page 1. Like I wouldn't link to these two to this one, and this one. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't want to do like 2 pages from the same site every time. Like on PBN1, maybe you will link to the root domain and also an inner page. And then PBN2, maybe just link to the inner page. And then maybe PBN3, you just link to the root. And then maybe PBN4, you end up linking to the root and then a different money page. Like page 2. So yeah, you can do stuff like that. Just don't get greedy and like link to multiple pages every single time. Like link to just one target for some PBNs. You know what I mean? For a lot of them, actually. I would say more than half link to just one target. But yeah, you can definitely throw in stuff on your PBNs where you're linking to multiple targets on the same site. And I'll go up to 3, but usually I do just 1, and if I do multiple, usually it's just 2. Every once in a while I will throw in 3, just more for testing. From Vince. I usually do both, Vince. Like I'll do like a post from my home page and then pages for the rest, for the most part. But I mean, it's not a huge deal on what you decide to do there. From Ada. If if you just did it for one link, Ada, I don't think that's going to be enough necessarily for them to penalize you. But in my case, when I did it, I think I did it for like a good 20, 30 links all within a couple days. So that's something they detected pretty easily. But yeah, I mean, if you just did one, I highly doubt that would negatively affect you. That's just my opinion. From low. With Yahoo, I'm not sure. Low. I mean, they could have seen you as over optimized. I'm not positive. I don't track Yahoo as much. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's possible. From Mike. Okay, Mike Long would know a lot more about this than me, Mike. I'm not the best with clients. And I think in your case, go ahead and email omg@omgmachines.com and also david@omgmachines.com and let them know that I told you to email them about this question. And they should give you some pretty in-depth information on either if we have this information, where it is, or how to take it. They'll give you some good advice on that. If we don't have, I'm almost positive we have training on that. But either way, email omg@omgmachines.com and also david@omgmachines.com. You can do it in the same email. And then just ask them this in the email, because they'll be able to answer you a lot better than I will on that. I just want to make sure that you get the best answer possible. That's all. All right, from Aline. I'm not sure what you're asking, Aline. Can you ask that in a different way? I think maybe you outlined a whole bunch of information from different sites, and you're asking if there's anywhere where you can give someone that information and kind of rewrite. If that's the case, I mean, something like any type of writing service like iWriter, the Content Authority. But I'm not sure if you can send them the information you collected or not. It might be able to. I'm not sure. I've never done that, so I'm not positive if that's what you're asking. From Carol. I mean, you don't necessarily need to have a local contact number, Carol. You can also use a 1-800 number. Any type. There's services out there where you can get a 1-800 number very cheap, like $1 a month. So you can always use like a 1-800 number where they don't know your location. That's definitely an option. From Jason. Yeah, on your PBNs, you want to no index follow. It's under, in Yoast, you go to the sidebar, it says SEO. You click on titles and text titles and metas, I think it is, the second one down after you hover over SEO. And then under taxonomies, you no index, no follow, categories and tags. And then you save it, and then you click on the other tab. It's the last tab. And then you also, I think it's the author. You no index, no file that as well, and then you hit save. You can use shared IP addresses. Yes, I do it all the time, but you just don't want it to use them where most IP addresses are shared. You just don't want to use them in cases where it's going to create footprints. All right. So I mean, if you like get a shared hosting account like HostGator, $8 a month, and you put a whole bunch of sites on there, you wouldn't want to link any of those sites, any of those same sites, to the same money site because they have the same IP address, right? So yeah, you can. I mean, shared IPs are very, very, very common. It's just on how you use them. Coco. Oh, all right, cool, Coco. From Jason. I'm not saying it's not good, Jason. It's just that I don't think it's going to do too much extra for you. I mean, I can always, run tests with it, but for the most part, once you link to a URL, I mean, you're getting the juice from that site, from that link. Having other links to the same URL is not really going to do too much for you, too much more for you. It's not going to hurt you, I wouldn't think, but I also wouldn't like go out of my way to do it. All right. From Jason, welcome, Jason. Yes, I enjoyed seeing the Cowboys get dominated. From Coco. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that, Coco. If I don't remember it, then it's not important. From Ada. It's not free. It should be spiderspanker.com. It's SPYDER. Remember, you can always Google it. Okay, there we go. It did load. So it's spiderspanker.com. From Kirk. Ask that one in the Facebook group, Kirk. We got a lot of people who are very good with citations in the Facebook group, better than me. So I just want to make sure you get a good answer about that. So I'll just ask that in the Facebook group, and you'll get a good answer there. Again, anytime that I think someone just has a better answer than me, that's what I'm going to recommend. I just want to make sure you guys are getting the best answer possible. That's all. I mean, I could answer it for you, but I just want to make sure you're getting the best answer, of course. Explain what a subdomain is. I mean, subdomains are basically seen as a site on a site. All right, that's why they're kind of treated differently. So you have like the site Weebly.com is a very popular site, right? When you register an account there, you'll get like youraccount.weebly.com, right? That's a subdomain. I mean, that's like an example for like a big site, all right? They kind of use subdomains for each person that signs up. If you own a website, let's say you own businessdirectory.com, and you want to set up subdomains for each kind of niche, then you would do stuff like plumbers.businessdirectory.com, all right, or dentist.businessdirectory.com. So all of your plumber stuff would go on this site here. Again, it's kind of like a site on a site. Then all your dentist stuff would go here. Okay, so that's what a subdomain is. Coco. Yeah, to uninstall WordPress, just go to WordPress in your cPanel, and there'll be an option to uninstall. And you can, of course, reinstall it. If a site has SSL, supposedly it is helping with trust a little bit now. It's helping with rankings. I just started using it on some sites, so I haven't been able to tell if there's a difference yet or not, but supposedly it is helping a little bit with rankings now, like a little bit added trust factor. You're welcome, Mike. And again, sorry I couldn't answer that myself. Again, I just want to make sure you get the proper answer, that's all. From Leo. That's a good question, Leo. I think it depends on competition and also experience. Like in my case, I'm pretty experienced with knowing exactly what type of anchor text to use, so I can actually link pretty quick without even seeing any movement and kind of know that I'm doing the right thing. But if you're a beginner, I recommend waiting as long as you see the movement. You know, wait till you see what type of movement it did, and then kind of choose your next one from there. And then it also depends, of course, on how much of a rush you're in. Like if it's something that needs to be ranked quick, do them as quick as you want. Just try to get the anchor text right, or ask me for advice before you do the links. But I mean, really, you can do multiple PBNs in a day, every single day. I mean, I usually don't do it like that unless I'm in a rush, but it does work fine. Typically, when I'm linking, I might start with like a link or two in the first week or two, and then from there maybe I'll link a couple times a week, and then I'll pick it up to, a few times a week. And that's like my typical pattern, but I mean, you can definitely go slower or faster with no problems. It's just a matter of getting the most out of your PBNs. Of course, in line with how quick you need to rank it as well. Alright, Jason. I don't know what wordbotic is, Jason. Never used it. Carol. Yeah, again, that stuff I'm not up to date on, so I would ask that in the Facebook group. I'm actually going to be getting with Cotton about all this stuff pretty soon, so I can answer questions on this better. But for now, I'd ask that in the Facebook group. From Vince. Whoops. I mean, it just depends on how safe you want to be and your resources, and also it depends on if you're asking on how many sites can you link out to from those posts. Like, I mean, the more content you have on your PBNs, the better. Okay, is it fine to do just one post per PBN? Most of the time, it is going to be, especially now. But as you get in more competitive niches, as I was talking about earlier, I wouldn't have all one-post PBNs going to your money site. So, I mean, the answer to that question really depends on how safe you want to be, if you're talking about linking out to multiple money sites or not, and then also how competitive the niche is, like how many PBNs have you already done? Are you doing other links? So, I mean, it really depends on all those questions. I mean, technically, I'm seeing people use PBNs, general PBNs still, linking to 20 different money sites who are still doing great. It's just that they're putting themselves in a little more danger, a lot more danger, because if something happens where something happens to the PBNs, then all the money sites on those PBNs are going to be affected. Okay, so it all comes down to like what you're doing, your competitiveness, how safe you want to be, all that type of stuff. From Low. Yeah, and we talked about this in the recent update videos, Low. And actually, to kind of make it clear, most SEO hosting services are actually shared IPs. They're not what do they call them? Dedicated IPs or shared IPs. So, I mean, it's totally fine to use shared IP addresses, just don't create footprints with them. Don't link to the same money site with the sites on the same IP address. That's all. But most IP addresses you get are shared IPs. From Coco. Not sure exactly what you mean, Coco. Using my link. I mean, most affiliate programs will give you like data on who's clicking your links and all that, Coco. So I mean, the affiliate program that you're in should have that data for you. I think most of them do. From Cliff. I mean, it really depends, again, on strength of links. If you have your optimization correct, how new the site is has a lot to do with it. How new the links are. But, I mean, typically mine, I don't see mine jump too much like that, Cliff. Unless they're newer sites. Although there has been a little more jumping lately. It seems like stuff is jumping around a little more lately, kind of like dancing around. They used to call it the Google Dance, but I mean, if you have a new site, that's definitely pretty common. All right, so we got a few more questions here. Let's see. You're welcome, Carol. All right, Coco. Oh, can you uninstall WordPress and reinstall on a site that has SSL? I talked to your hosting provider about that, Coco. I'm actually doing that right now for a site with Host 9. I just contacted them and I said, I put up the site like a week ago and it has about 10 pages on it. And I just contacted them, said I want SSL for the site, and they just replied saying it's $40 a year. And I just now asked them like what the process is and what I have to do. But I'm pretty sure that whoever you're hosting the site with will take care of all that. Although I think there may be problems that come about with interlinks. Like if you're linking to other pages on your site, like doing interlinking, it may cause problems with that from what I hear. So I would ask them about that before you make the change to say, will this cause any problems with my sites, with my internal linking and stuff like that. But they should take care of all that for you, whoever the host is. From Cliff. Yeah, I mean it should, Cliff. Anytime you link to any page, it should affect the rankings. I mean, unless you're in very competitive niche and you're it close to the top, and the other top sites are also very competitive, then you might not see much movement. But for the most part, you're going to see movement from pretty much any time you do a link. All right, from Jason. Yeah, don't really worry about software people recommend, Jason. Get your PBN together. Get your stuff going. I mean, if there's a software I would recommend, it would be you don't even necessarily need Spider Spanker, especially being just starting out, because I wouldn't worry about people necessarily looking into my stuff in beginner type niches. If there's one software I would recommend, it would be Social Explosion, because that's going to help you get indexed quicker. It's going to help with trust. It's going to help rank you better. So that's actually the one software that I could actually recommend you get, even being a beginner. Other than that, don't worry about all that stuff too much. A lot of that stuff is kind of just going to get in your way of progress, in my opinion. If you're a beginner and you're getting recommended all these softwares and you'll probably end up never using them, and it just don't worry too much about all that stuff going on, Jason. Not saying they're not helpful. It's just probably not the right time for you to get them. It's just going to be more distracting than anything for a lot of those softwares. I mean, Coco, and that's kind of what we've been talking about, you know, having multiple, or having more content on your PBNs. Like, if you're a competitive niche and you're doing only PBN links, and you have all one post PBNs, that's going to look a little fishy. So, I mean, in that type of case, you would probably want to add more content to kind of mix it up. But, I mean, technically speaking, having just one post linking out to your money site from a PBN is all you really need. Of course, adding content to the PBN is going to help you. You know, having more content will probably make the PBN stronger, but you don't actually need to do that right now. We're going to start making some recommendations for that in the coming weeks. But I mean, right now, what's working right now? You just need one post with links going out to your money site for it to work. But we are going to recommend, you know, kind of building out your PBNs a little more coming here soon. We'll be talking about that in the coming weeks. So. But especially like those of you who are in like local, you know, if you're just needing like, you know, 5 links, something like that, or even less, then I wouldn't even worry about that too much. Like having more content on your PBNs. You know, a few links is not really enough data for Google to slap you with, really. Alright, I'll take these last questions here. So we're going to stop earlier, but I saw a few more. Yeah, there is a sandbox for new sites. I mean, I think there's a sandbox for all sites if you do the right thing. Or if you do the wrong thing, I should say, actually. From Leo. Not off the top of my head, Leo. Can't think of any. You're welcome, Kirk. From Coco. Yeah, I usually have one of my partners do that for me, Coco. But in this case, it's actually on the host that I actually hosted the site for some reason, so I'm doing that one. But I'll let you know how it goes if you want to ask next session. I emailed them about 3 hours ago about it, so they might have actually already gotten back to me about it. And I'll talk to them and see what the process is from there. Alright, cool. Alright, so it looks like we're taken care of here. My next session again will be next week, probably Monday or Tuesday, I'm guessing. And I'll get this recording over to David tonight, and he should have it up by tomorrow if there's anything that you guys wanted to review. Alright? Alright, thanks for coming out, guys. Always appreciate you guys, you know, writing down your questions and coming and firing away at me. You know, it shows you guys are on par and making progress and all that, so I really appreciate that. Alright, guys, I will see you all next session. Have a good night.